Hi, Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. My name is Nur Nabiha and I will present about the research summary for my project paper 1. The title for my study is The Impact of Intrinsic and Extrinsic Motivation Factor on Job Performance Among Public and Private Sector Employees in Selangor. Background of study. One of the most important factors improving employee performance in work environment is motivation. It includes all of the internal and external elements that motivate people to act in a way related to their jobs, which in turn affect on how well they perform. The term intrinsic motivation describes the drive that comes from within a person and include things like knowledge, acquisition, interest in the work itself, and personal fulfillment. Numerous studies have examined the connection between job performance and motivation, with theories indicate that motivated workers are more dedicated to their companies, more creative, and more productive. Higher level of job satisfaction and performance have been associated with extrinsic motivation, which include the pursuit of meaningful work and personal development. Employee behavior is also greatly influenced by intrinsic motivation, which include monetary reward and outside recognition. Studies have indicate that in the Malaysian setting, employee retention and satisfaction are greatly impacted by both intrinsic such as pay and intrinsic such as decision-making opportunities factor. For the problem statement, also motivation is known to be important for improving job performance. Little research has been done on the combined effect of extrinsic and intrinsic motivational factor among Selangor employees. Previous research indicate that organizational culture, leadership style, and job design all have an impact on the relationship between motivation and job performance. Employee dissatisfaction may result from some company paying high salary but not providing a positive work environment. In light of this difficulty, it is clear that more thorough study is required to identify the ideal mix of extrinsic and intrinsic motivator that improve worker job performance in Selangor. Research question and objective. Research question from this study first is how do intrinsic motivational factor impact job performance among employees in Selangor? Second, how do intrinsic motivational factor influence job performance among employee in Selangor? And third, is there a significant difference in job performance between employees driven by intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation? For research objective, first to investigate how intrinsic motivator affect worker performance in Selangor public and private sector. Second, to examine how extrinsic motivator affect worker job performance in Selangor public and private sector. Third, to evaluate how intrinsic and extrinsic motivator affect the job performance and worker in the public and private sector. Hypothesis from the study is intrinsic motivational factor have a significant positive impact on job performance among public and private sector employee in Selangor. Second hypothesis is extrinsic motivational factor have a significant positive impact on job performance among public and private sector employee in Selangor. And there is a significant difference in job performance between public and private sector employees motivate intrinsically and those motivate extrinsically. Significance of study. The purpose of the study is to ascertain how extrinsic and extrinsic motivational factor affects Selangor employee job performance. The research important lie in gathering trustworthy data on the connection between this motivating element and worker performance, which will benefit academia and industry. Literature review. According to Hemakorama 2020, both internal and external motivation as well as the organizational context are used to gauge employee satisfaction. Job performance show how well employees fulfill their job requirement, derived by From the word motive, motivation is widely used word with a variety of meaning, including an individual need, want, drive, and desire. According to the study, employee motivation is the primary factor that determines their work performance. Extrinsic and intrinsic motivational factors have demonstrated this correlation. Self-determination theory serves as the foundation for relationship between intrinsic motivation and job performance. Three basic psychological needs that individuals motivate are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Job performance refer to behavior that employee control which contribute to achieving organizational goal. Three primary domains of job performance are task performance, contextual performance, and counterproductive work behavior. For theoretical review, I'm using self-determination theory introduced by Richard Ryan and Edward Deci in 1985. Self-determination theory (SDT) question the conventional wisdom that rewards are the best means of inspiring people, rather in highlight how important the three psychological needs of autonomy, relatedness, and competence are for promoting intrinsic motivation. Autonomy is this is the sense of having a choice and voluntarily supporting one behavior, which make people believe that they are the source action of their action. Competence, this is the feeling that one has a choice and willingly support their behavior, leading people to feel that their action are their own doing. Relatedness, this pertains to the need to feel connected to other and a sense of belonging, fostering meaningful relationship and social interaction. Self-determination theory offer important insight into how elements like interdependence and uncertainty affect performance, motivation, and general well-being. It's make the case that favorable circumstance that allow people to feel competent, autonomous, and relate to the other improve output, perseverance, and creativity. Conceptual framework. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation factor are independent variable, and job performance are dependent variable. A row indicate the direction of influence intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to job performance. Employee engagement and performance are boosted by intrinsic motivation, which originate from internal fulfillment, such as personal growth, job satisfaction, and recognition. On the other hand, external incentive such as salary, bonus, job security, drive extrinsic motivation, which encourage worker to successfully accomplish company objective. Long-term engagement is encouraged by intrinsic motivation, whereas intrinsic motivation offer instant reward. Research design. This chapter focuses on obtaining information about research conducted using method quantitative research approach by collecting data through questionnaire. This study examined the impact of intrinsic and extrinsic motivational factor on job performance among public and private sector employees in Selangor. The primary goal is to determine the relationship between these two variables. First, study type. Quantitative cross-sectional study is examining the impact of intrinsic and extrinsic motivational factor on job performance. For sampling method, target population is public and private sector employee in Selangor. Sampling techniques, there is non-probability sampling that is pur- pur- for sampling. Sampling size is determined to ensure it is to provide reliable of the result. Data collection is motivational factor. Yes, this is use the motivation at the work scale questionnaire (MAWS) to measure motivation factor. For job performance, using individual work performance questionnaire IWPQ to measure job performance that require individual work performance, tech performance, contextual performance, and counterproductive work behavior. Procedure that is survey administered through Google Form questionnaire. For data analysis, independent variable, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation factor, dependable variable job performance. Reliability is provide a measure of the extent to which a text or scale is consistent in its measurement. External consistency, combat alpha access how well the item in a scale or test are related to each other. Ethical consideration, ethical consideration, informant consents, participants are informed and consents to participate. Confidentiality, data is kept confidential and anonymous. Voluntary voluntary participation, they can withdraw anytime. Sampling method, target population is public and private sector employees in Selangor. Sampling technique is purposive sampling is a sampling method known as a non-probability sampling occur when a not every member of a population has a equal chance of being chosen. A sample size is using the Kreischer and Morgan 1970 table was used to calculate the proper sample size, which recommend 384 for a population this size. It is to provide reliable of the result. Requirement respondent are employee at the age of 18 to 16, working in public and private sector employee must be working in Selangor. Research procedure. In the beginning of the study, we determine the title of the research and also what target population that will be centered. This is research were developed with research question, objective and hypothesis. Subsequently, following reviewing previous study from prior research and questionnaire, the instrument was selected. The chosen instrument item are later combined via Google Forms. Next, the questionnaire will then be sent out via WhatsApp and the link provided has instruction before the respondent are directed to the answer section. There are 39 questions on the questionnaire in total. Following that, the researcher will use SPSS to analyze and interpret the data and was gathered from the intended respondent. Finally, after the data from the pilot test has been analyzed, a final report will be written. Research instrument. There are three sections. There is section A, section B, and section C. Section A are demographic question that include age, gender, and year of experience. Section B have motivation factor, instrument that using motivation at work scale questionnaire MAWS. Purpose of this instruments for based on self-determination theory, SDT has assesses different type of work motivation, including intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. This test has five dimensions: the motivation, external regulation, introjected regulation, regulation identify, motivation intrinsic. Format using is Likert scale questionnaire 1 to 5. This is strongly disagree, 2 strongly agree. There are 12 items in the MAWS questionnaire. For section C is job performance. Instrument using is individual work performance questionnaire. There is IWPQ. Purpose for this and for attempt to evaluate three aspects of an individual work performance: text performance, contextual performance, and counterproductive work behavior in order to assist organization in comprehending and enhancing employee behavior. Format using is Likert scale questionnaire 0 to 1. For text and contextual performance, using seldom, sometime, frequently, often, and always. For counterproductive behavior, they're using never, seldom, sometime, frequently, and often. 21 item in the IWPQ questionnaire is used. For research instrument pilot study, purpose is to test the reliability of the survey instrument. Sample size that been collected is 19 respondents. Analysts to perform a statistical software SPSS. Combat alpha is to assess internal consistency. First, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation factor. Reliability is 01965. Job performance is 1x9x. And for both variable is 0924. The result from this show that the reliability of the instrument are reliable. That's all for me. Thank you.